You know that feeling, right? That sudden stomach-dropping panic when your entire team's SharePoint site just grinds to an absolute halt. Files are suddenly taking ages to load, saving a simple document feels like it takes an eternity, and worst of all, you get that dreaded notification that you've officially hit your storage limit. Honestly, it happens to the best of us, and the biggest mystery is usually, where on earth did all that storage space actually go? You look around and it just seems like everything vanished into thin air. Well, welcome to our explainer today. We're going to solve this exact mystery together.
To really understand the problem, think about your smartphone for a second. We deal with this every single day. When your phone runs out of space, what's usually the culprit? It's almost always a massive pile of forgotten photos, large video clips you filmed months ago, and a bunch of unused downloads just sitting there taking up room. Well, SharePoint storage is the exact same concept. Just like your phone gets bloated with unseen media, your SharePoint site silently gets weighed down by massive media files, archived projects that nobody has looked at in literally years, and endless document version histories.
So that brings us to the whole point of today's explainer, mastering SharePoint storage metrics. By the time we wrap up here, we're going to transform you from a frustrated, overwhelmed user into a highly capable, data-driven pro site owner. You'll know exactly how to look under the hood of your SharePoint site, identify those hidden space hogs, and clean things up with surgical precision.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll start with the invisible storage drain, move on to unlocking storage metrics, and then guide you through reading your storage report. After that, we'll cover smart storage management, and finally, wrap up with projecting future needs. It's a clear, completely actionable sequence to get your site running perfectly again.
Section 1. The invisible storage drain. Where exactly is all that space going?
Well, the culprits of this storage bloat are usually hiding right there in plain sight. We're talking about large, unmanaged folders, massive media files like raw video recordings or high-res images, and old project documents that really should have been archived years ago. But you know what the two biggest silent killers are? Recycle bin content that nobody ever empties, and multiple file versions. Seriously, every single time someone clicks Save on a giant PowerPoint presentation, SharePoint saves a whole new version of it. These everyday items silently accumulate over time, and that right there is exactly what causes those sudden performance drops.
Section 2. Unlocking storage metrics. Let's find your hidden tool.
So this magical tool, it's called Storage Metrics. You can basically think of this as the ultimate storage analyzer for your entire SharePoint site. It's this incredibly powerful, somewhat hidden feature that acts like a treasure map. It shows you exactly where every single megabyte and gigabyte is living. It answers all your pressing questions in a matter of minutes, which takes the guesswork entirely out of the equation.
Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we really need to clarify who can actually use this. I don't want you getting frustrated hunting for a menu option you simply don't have permissions for. Full access is reserved specifically for site owners and site collection administrators. If you're a standard site member, your access varies and might require special permission. And if you're a visitor or read-only user, you have absolutely no access to this feature. You definitely need the right keys to open this door.
But if you do have the right access, getting there is incredibly straightforward. Let's trace the path. First, open your site and click the Settings gear icon. Next, choose Site Contents from that menu. Then click on Site Settings within that library. And finally, under Site Collection Administration, just select Storage Metrics. And boom, you've arrived. It's so empowering to know that this massive diagnostic capability is literally just 4 clicks away.
Section 3. Reading your storage report. Time to translate all this data.
Okay, let's keep things super simple so the data doesn't overwhelm you. The Storage Metrics report is, at its core, just a generated breakdown of folder sizes, library usage, total file counts, and the amount of bloat sitting in your recycle bin. That's it. It just takes all your content and ranks it by size so you can immediately spot the heaviest items.
When you pull up the full dashboard, yeah, it might look a little dense at first glance, but it beautifully visualizes how much storage is being used across your whole environment. It groups everything so logically. You can clearly see individual folder sizes, pinpoint the largest content right away, and understand exactly what's eating up your free space so you can actually plan better.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the sheer scale we're often dealing with. Take a typical enterprise environment, for example. Hitting 2.45 terabytes of storage used out of a 25 terabyte limit. I mean, that is a massive amount of data. When you're managing over 2 terabytes of files, manual guessing simply isn't an option anymore. You can't just randomly click through folders hoping to find big files. You absolutely need this automated top-down view to identify exactly where the weight is sitting.
When we actually break down a typical library's data, we can see exactly where the pain points are. Often, just 2 folders, say projects eating up 51.1% and media taking up 24.6%, consume over 75% of the total space. It's the classic Pareto principle in action. The vast majority of your storage drain is going to be concentrated in just a tiny handful of specific, heavy folders. And once you know that, you know exactly where to direct your cleanup efforts.
And man, we absolutely cannot ignore the waste. Just imagine finding 45.2 gigabytes of space tied up completely in the recycle bin. That is invisible junk sitting right under your nose, and it is quietly counting against your total storage limits. Deleted items in the recycle bin still consume your storage until they are permanently purged. Honestly, clearing that out is one of the easiest, fastest ways to instantly win back gigabytes of space for your team.
Section 4. Smart Storage Management. Let's restore peak efficiency.
So the really crucial point here is that analysis without action is kind of useless, right? Here's the actual playbook of what smart, proactive site owners do to maintain a lightning-fast site. They archive old projects off the active site, they hunt down and remove duplicates, they monitor their growth trends every single month, not just when an emergency hits, they clean out that recycle bin regularly, and they actively manage large media files, like maybe moving those massive videos to a completely different dedicated cloud storage area.
But, we do need to be realistic and manage our expectations. This tool has a few limitations. Most notably, real-time updates aren't instantaneous. If you delete 50 gigabytes of data today, the report might not reflect that the very second you refresh the page. Also, for really large sites with millions of items, the metrics might take some time to generate. And finally, while it tells you what the file is and where it is, it doesn't actually show you user-level file ownership details.
Section 5. Projecting Future Needs. How to Plan Ahead. And this brilliantly illustrates how we look ahead. It's just simple math. You take your current usage and you add it to your monthly growth multiplied by the months ahead you want to project. So, say you're using 500 gigabytes right now, and you grow by 20 gigabytes a month. Over the next 12 months, you're going to add 240 gigabytes. That gives you an estimated future need of 740 gigabytes. Running this quick formula proves to your organization exactly what resources will be needed. Remember, a clean site is a fast site, and a well-planned site never crashes from bloat.
Which leaves me with one final provocative question for you today. What on earth is hiding in your recycle bin right now? Is it gigabytes of wasted space, silently slowing your whole team down? Look, don't let the invisible storage drain control your workflow. I highly urge you to go log in, follow the steps we just went over, check your metrics, and reclaim your site storage today. You've got the tools, you've got the knowledge, now go make it happen. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy cleaning!